Welcome, dear viewers, to The Flat Show, the show we're forced to do and you don't care about.
With your co-hosts, Bradshaw
And Lime Watton.
We have a very subpar show for you today, so make sure to stick around.
That's right, folks. And like always, the stuff we talk about will be like a day-old soda. Flat.
Never gets old.
Haha, yeah. And speaking of flat, that segues onto our topic for this evening, the prairies.
This episode shall be on regionalism in the prairies, the theory or practice of regional rather than central system of administration. We will be focusing on the cultural aspects of regionalism through mixed media and arts.
That's right. The examples we're gonna give include Coroner Gas, the hit TV show, Margaret Lawrence, the writer of The Stone Angel, Kathy Bradshaw and their amazing art pieces, the Prairie Journal and their contributions, PCCA, Prairie Canada Carvers Association, and their amazing things that they display for us all, and the Arrogant Worms, and their song, The Last Saskatchewan Pirate, followed up with a detailed analysis on the hit theme song, Not a Lot Going On.
Let's begin.
And now we will cut to our region man, Steve, who will describe and draw the prairies.
Steve's in here. It's not that important. What are you doing?
Okay. So, the prairies look like this. There's Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba.
Very detailed drawing. Well, thank you, Cole. That was a very detailed analysis.
Next up, tragedy has struck our beloved prairies since our famous TV show has been canceled.
9 years ago. As a tribute to such a significant show, Coroner Gas, we shall now show a small clip that stole the hearts of at least 5 people.
It never gets old.
Yes. And now, the weather with Walton.
Who's Walton?
To steal the cold.
It's sunny.
Well, thank you. We shall now go into one of the most sophisticated parts of prairie culture, which would be Margaret Lawrence and her book, The Stone Angel.
We will now cut to a reporter, Liam Haybale, who will explain the book and its relation to regionalism.
Thank you. The book, The Stone Angel, is set in the fictional town Manawanka in Manitoba. This town is based on Lawrence's own childhood home, Nipawin, and it describes small town life she experienced. It also has a Métis character included, which is a further representation of regionalism.
Thank you, Haybale.
On to our next example, we will be talking about the artistic company of Kathy Bradshaw.
Take it away, Houston.
Kathy Bradshaw is an artist based out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. She specializes in oil paintings that are a depict of the prairie sky, as well as other things such as buffalo, horses, and prairie landscapes. This is an example of regionalism because her art mainly depicts images that are commonly found on the prairies.
Thank you, host Ann.
Very inspiring.
Now let's have a short break for the weather.
It's raining.
Well, you heard it, folks. Didn't you just say it was sunny?
It's been 5 minutes. A lot can happen in 5 minutes.
Touche.
Anyways, on to our next example for this evening, the Prairie Journal.
Let's cut to Haybale.
Whoa, didn't see you there. The Prairie Journal is basically a combination of poems, plays, short stories, and essays sent in by regular people from across the prairies. These are then reviewed, and many are published in the journal. This is a great example of regionalism because the journal is a collection of many types of art from many people in the prairies who have been inspired by the landscape around them.
Sounds fun. I didn't even know we had a Prairie Journal.
I know, right?
Anyways, on to the Prairie Canada Carvers Association.
Sounds zesty.
It sure does. Let's go to Howelltown with the news on that.
The Prairie Canada's Carving Association was started over 25 years ago by a group of people who loved wildlife and sought to promote that through carving. They showcase many different types of prairie wildlife through their carvings.
Thanks, Hostel.
Seems like an appropriate time to cut back to Cloud with the weather.
It's snowing.
What?
More like a blizzard, really.
Seems legit.
Now on to a time for a more fun topic, a music group you all know well, the Arrogant Worms.
The Arrogant Worms are an Alberta-placed musical trio. They sing mainly on Canada and make fun of it. A great example of this is the song Last Saskatchewan Pirate, which we will now show.
This song is about the hard life of a Saskatchewan prairie farmer and how he instead chose to take the noble profession of a pirate and steal supplies and fertilizer from the surrounding farms. And, of course, he gets chased by the Mounties, but we're in Canada, we are so polite that they just end up joining him and becoming pirates as well.
National treasure indeed.
Hey, Cloud, how's the weather? Is it still snowing?
Can't tell.
Can't tell. Why not?
Hail smashed through the window so I can't get close enough to see.
Oh, dang. Just wait until the hail stops, then tell us.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So, what's next on the list?
Justin Bieber.
Heck no. It's, yes, Ryan Wunsch.
Oh, didn't see you there. Ryan Wunsch is an internationally published photographer who is based in Saskatchewan. He is also a storm chaser and is always on the lookout throughout the prairies for the next great photo opportunity. Some of his photos have been given awards from the National Geographic. What?
But stop!
That's all my lines.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Sure is. Well, our time is almost up. But first, we shall do a flashback to the beginning of this episode, to the beloved TV show, Corner Gas.
Good times.
I shall provide a detailed analysis on the theme song they play at the beginning.
But first, how does the weather look, Cal?
I think we should hurry this up. Looks like a tornado starting a little ways out.
We'll be quick then.
I will now proceed to do the in-depth analysis of the song Nothing Going On, co-written by Craig Northey and Jesse Vanzuela for the hit show Corner Gas. We will now play this song for you, so sit back and enjoy. So the first stanza goes, you can watch your dog ran away, then tell me it takes 3 days. I've heard every joke, I've heard every word you say. Now this part of the song references an old joke that's made in the prairies, a common one, the fact that it's so flat here that if your dog ran away, you could probably watch it for 3 days, unless of course you stood on a piece of paper, then you could see it for 6. Then it continues on to say, I've heard every joke, I've heard every word you say, and this references the fact that many, many jokes are made about the prairies. So we've probably heard it all here, and there's nothing more you could really say to add to that. The second stanza goes, I roll my eyes back into my happy place. I'm always going to need this sense of space. In the amber waves under a rolling cloud, I can't hear what you say because you're talking so loud. How many times are you going to get me wrong? Yeah. The first part describes how the prairies in Canada are quite a happy place, and there's a huge sense of space around us, and if you move away, it's a sense that people find they miss. In the amber waves under a rolling cloud describes the wheat fields that are endless among the prairies for the farmers. And under a rolling cloud describes the sky and how, no matter where you are, you can always see it. I can't hear you what you're saying because you're talking so loud. explains how it's quite quiet here in the prairies, and so you barely need to whisper, and it probably could be heard pretty well. Then the third stanza says, you could use a glass half full of something strong to help you see the emperor with nothing on. Double your dose if it's over the counter, because you're sad, yeah, out of towner. It's basically making fun of someone out of town, describing the prairies as depressing, void of life, and not really interesting, while the people inside know it's actually quite eventful and full of life. The last stanza states, with the rain you could get lightning on you, strikes twice, you better believe it. Under a sky that's always wrapped around you, good luck, you know you'll never need it. It's basically once again describing how the prairies are really flat, there's nothing tall in the prairie, so lightning will strike twice everywhere, and then of course the sky wraps around you completely because that's all you can really see. And good luck, you'll probably never need it here in the prairies. Nothing really ever happens. It's making fun of that. And then the chorus. One second, I need to find it. And the chorus that the song keeps repeating back to simply states, you think there's not a lot going on, but look closer, baby, you're so wrong. And that's why you can stay so long, where there's not a lot going on. It's basically a simple message that on the outside the prairies look like nothing's ever happening, but in reality there is, and it emphasizes rather than the land being the beauty point, but the interactions between people being the part that attracts people to live in the prairies together as a community. That's it.
Very interesting. Well, and that's all the time we have for today, folks.
We'll see you next time on... Oh, who are we kidding? There won't be a next time.
See y'all later.
You can tell me that your dog ran away.
Hey!
I'm back. I did your thing.
Oh, thank you, buddy. I was just in the bathroom.
Oh.